Welcome out there, everybody. I'm just getting things together here. Okay. We'll get started here in a minute. Here on 9/11, crazy that's the time. 9/11, the nightly radio show. We have to do a wrap up here on Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing after this crazy, crazy day that we had here in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology sphere, along with the mining sector that imploded. But we forecasted the implosion at the gold standard. We're just getting situated here. You can see an alert here. Bitcoin drops below 65,000, minus 10.14% in the last 24 hours as Bitcoin collapsed. Absolutely imploded today. It was a travesty. But it was a manipulated pump and dump that the gold standard seen. But if we take a look at what's going on here now, is if you have any questions down below, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard. Yes, we will guard. If you guys got any questions, you feel free to question. We're going to be on here a little bit longer in the nightly radio show, as don't have to go to work or anything like that. But we had a big collapse in the cryptocurrency market today. Bitcoin was down better than 14% at one point. Ethereum was down 15 or 16%. XRP has dipped below today, below $1.20 at one point. Today it's sitting about $1.24 right now. And this is something that the gold standard warned you and talked to you about, the trap that they were setting and laying for you last week and at the beginning of this week on Monday's morning live radio show. Remember to check me out on Facebook. Become a member of Jabroni Killer. It's in the video description and or pinned comment. It's at $3 a month. Keep these live videos coming that you guys seem to love. We've had hundreds of people view the video this morning and yesterday's radio show. So we're getting good feedback. Support the channel if you want. But we were talking about Monday, how the trap was being set, that there could be a manipulated little rally Monday and Tuesday before the bottom fell out. And there was a lot of downside risk in crypto and gold and silver bullion. The mining stocks got hammered, and the crypto is where we're starting out this evening's live wrap up of the market today on this February the 5th, 2026. You can see XRP got slaughtered, and XRP is, like we said, has a lot of downside risk, and we're looking at a 32-cent potential target in the not so distant future, right? That is where I'm looking at in the short to medium term. I think we're going to 70 cents, but there's going to be a rally here at some point because we've been beaten down so fast. And you can see the big wick. That big wick on the left there is that big October liquidity 60% flush that everybody thought that was the liquidity dump to get all the over leverage out. And then bam, we could go to new all-time highs. The holiday extravaganza was on. We were all getting Christmas presents for the 4th year in a row because the crypto was pumping post-COVID for the holiday seasons. But the gold standard was telling you that everybody thought that that was going to happen and we were going to have to come back down to those liquidity crunches. And that's where we're almost at in XRP. We still got a little bit more room because that wick down in August went back down to about $1, 99 cents to $1, and we're going to end up going back down there, and we're going to end up going back to 70 cents, and that's where your great buying opportunity is going to start, right? That's where that buying opportunity, the great buying opportunity, is going to start. If we look over here today at, what are we looking at here? 14 cents, that has to be XLM. It got way down today. It got down to about 13.5 to 14 cents. We're hitting our support at 14 cents, an area that we've been talking about for a year that we would get back down to. Wow, everybody has comments in the morning, but nobody has comments at night. That we would get back down there, and we hit down there, but now we could have a bounce. And if we bounce back up in here, you're looking at 21 cents is your major upper resistance now. But the downside potential, and eventually, is another 51% from the current price, as I believe eventually we're going to get sub 10 cents in XLM. I think we could get down as far and as quick and easy down to 7 cents. Doesn't mean there's not going to be bounces. There's going to have to be some kind of a rally at some point, but there's extreme downside risk and XLM and across the crypto sphere. And here's the Bitcoin chart. We had that 3.5-year rising wedge up there that we broke out of, and we got 51,000 as your next major target. We broke down through the 200-day and the weekly, which is in green. They're at 67. We're way below the 100-day moving average in the weekly. That's sitting up there at around $86,000 now, right? But I think we're coming down to 27,000 and end up in the bear market bottom, potentially lower, but $27,000 in Bitcoin. And that leads to a major problem with our good friend Michael Saylor, that he's finally getting under some stress here. MicroStrategy's risk as Bitcoin is below 60,000. Strategy is under renewed market pressure. And this is something the gold standard's been talking about, and what's going to cause a feedback loop on itself, where he and all these other high leveraged quasi Bitcoin treasury companies like a MicroStrategy and 500,000 of these other companies that mortgaged and borrowed the future of their company, that Bitcoin would only go up. And his average price is like 75,000. He's underwater now on all that borrowed money, when he or any of these companies that have done it with Ethereum, that have done it with Bitcoin, but most of them have done it with Bitcoin at 90, 100,000 or higher, at Ethereum at 3,500 to 4,500 or higher. Once they get forced to sell because they have to service the debt on those loans, it's going to cascade as they dump those shares into the open market and drives the price down even faster. And then more companies have to sell because they're getting margin called on their borrowed money. This is going to be a tornado of a feedback on itself that's going to cascade it down to the shithouse and even farther below the shithouse than you could even imagine. And now finally people are starting to talk about this. It's down 21%. And his losses into the billions of dollars in losses on unrealized losses, as he is now below his average cost per share. And that's going to be very, very huge on the market if he ever has to start getting forced. Look, I know they're all for 2029 and 2032 when they come up, but if he ever gets forced to sell, that's going to be a cascading feedback on itself, right? If we look at another one of our beautiful stocks here, what was this? This was, what am I looking at? PLG. One of our subscribers asked for PLG. It's a platinum and palladium stock, and it's highly volatile, and this thing is collapsing on itself. And this thing has been, it hasn't had any good years really in decades, even during bull runs. This thing is just a quick in and out. But right now, I would run far, far away from this thing, because this thing could be coming down another 34% from where it closed at on February the 15th, 2025, right? Or 2026. This thing's got big downside risk. As this thing pumped, but didn't really pump crazy for how much platinum and palladium pumped the last 6 months. And this thing's down about 99% over the last 10 years. This thing is just a quick in and out. And right now, PLG, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would run far, far away from this thing. Get you off the screen. What else do we got here? I got something else on here that I wanted to see. We got, oh yeah, we got our Bitcoin here. Where's my Bitcoin? No, we got silver first. We wanted to do the silver chart first. You can see silver, we were telling you, a lot of people have been jumping in on the silver and gold bullion train, but the gold standard was telling you now is not the time. The time was a couple of years ago. This looked like the blow-off capitulation local top of a massive rally. And you can see silver's got big downside risk, because I'm thinking $50 silver is coming sooner than you know it, but there could be a rally at some point as it's bounced off of its. It got down to about $62 in after hours this evening, but I think $50 is a good target to the downside, and potentially $30. You could actually see a $30 silver again, but I'm not holding my breath for 30, but $50 in the short term, I believe, is coming in the price of silver bullion. And then what else did we have here on the old chart? What was this? This was silver. That's what this was. This was the last time in 2011 when silver got up to $50 and had its second matching or getting close to its 1980 high. It went down 71.68% over about 6 years. And that wasn't even the bottom. 71%. It ended up going down much lower than that, but that was just the first 5 or 6 years. nothing but straight down, going from 50, and it ended up below $20, right? It ended up below $10 when it hit its low. I think it got down to about $7 after it capitulated to the downside, right? So silver bullion, it pumps really fast, but silver dumps 70 or 80%, even 90% sometimes, just like an XRP or a crypto. Other than the silver is a base metal. You can see gold bullion's fared a little better than silver, but we told you gold bullion looked like it was hitting a top. And this is its recent rally it's had just in the last 3 years. It's went from $2,000 to $5,600. And we thought there was a great chance of a big consolidation and profit taking and a potential bear market coming after a blow off top, it taking out its inflation and its inflation adjusted high from 1980. That was only at 3,600. It got to 5,600. Now it's sitting at 4,200. I think we're coming to 3,500 and potentially 2,500 is what I'm targeting here. I think we have a 52% or a $3,000 correction from the top in gold bullion. Like the channel, subscribe. We just wanted to give a market wrap up after a highly volatile day today. Peace and love. Signing off from the gold standard, but we've learned that we must wait a few seconds or else it ruins our beautiful material. So thank you for joining another gold standard live production from Vincenzo's mobile studio. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:45 in the morning.